This training tape will cover block charge plays. There are 8 plays. Play 1. This is an incredibly challenging play to adjudicate at live speed. But let's break down some key aspects of the play. The defender initially obtains a legal guarding position by being in the path of the offensive player with 2 feet facing the ball handler. After the shooter becomes airborne, the defender moves his left foot to the right, essentially adjusting from a wide stance to having both feet directly under his torso. As officials, we must determine whether this step moved the defender into the offensive player's path or whether the defender was already in the path and this step merely helped the defender brace for the impending contact. It appears the defender was already in the path. Therefore, this step can be considered part of maintaining a legal guarding position and supports a ruling of a player control foul. The lead official emphatically signals a blocking foul on this play. Officials at the high school level should not attempt to signal in a way that draws attention to themselves. Signaling is merely a method to communicate effectively with players, coaches, and their partners. Our actions need to be poised and under control, and signals should be displayed calmly and professionally, unlike what we see on this play. Play 2. On block charge plays, understanding court coverage responsibilities and having discipline in honoring proper sight of foul signaling is imperative, especially when double whistles occur like it did on this play. The lead official has primary responsibility for the ruling, as it occurred in the lane area involving a secondary defender. After sounding the whistle and properly displaying the stop the clock signal, officials need to make sure to eye contact with their partner before signaling. In this play, there is a double whistle, and the lead and center do a good job of making eye contact before signaling the type of foul. Both the lead and center have challenging angles as other players in the lane area obstruct their view of the play. The lead decides to defer to the center to make the ruling, who proceeds to rule a blocking foul. This appears to be an accurate ruling as the defender appears to move laterally into the path of the airborne shooter after the shooter had left the floor. The center official displays an inaccurate blocking signal by raising both arms in the air before pounding his hips with both fists. The correct signal is for the ruling official to gently place open hands on the hips. Play 3. Across the country, officials have reported that the new faking being fouled rule has had a positive impact on the game. Enforcement has increased, and players are beginning to adjust their behavior accordingly, which is encouraging. One of the challenges in officiating plays like this is that players fall for many different reasons. And sometimes it's difficult to determine whether the player was genuinely displaced or trying to deceive the official. At first glance, the defender appears to fall very easily after only slight contact. That initial reaction might suggest the defender is faking being fouled. If the defender simply sat down in an attempt to fool the official into ruling a player control foul, there would be rules support for charging the team with a faking being fouled infraction. However, when we look more closely, another possible explanation emerges. Notice the offensive player's foot. It appears to momentarily step on the defender's foot. That brief entanglement could be the reason the defender fell to the floor. If that's the case, The contact should be considered incidental. This clip highlights the importance of officials seeing the whole play in order to make an accurate ruling. Play 4. Here is another play where a drive to the basket results in a contact situation with a secondary defender. The secondary defender does appear to obtain a legal guarding position before the shooter becomes airborne. Is the contact significant enough to displace the defender, or does the defender embellish the contact? If the defender has embellished the contact, a faking being fouled warning should be issued to the team. If the team had been previously warned, a team technical foul would be charged. The lead official in this play ruled that the contact displaced the defender and ruled a player control foul. He properly signaled to cancel the goal, but his signals at the site of the foul were not accurate. The sequence should begin with the ruling official displaying the stop the clock foul signal, then signaling to cancel the goal, then placing one hand behind the head to display the player control foul. The sequence should end with the ruling official indicating the correct throw-in spot along the end line. Play 5. In this play, the defender, white number 3, moves into the path, has both feet on the floor, and faces the ball handler. Therefore, he has obtained a legal guarding position. From that point, the defender maintains that position by jumping vertically from point A to point A. After the contact, the defender ends up under the basket parallel to the backboard. Now, let's consider a very important question. If this try is not successful and you were the defender, where would you prefer to be when the rebound occurred? A, under the basket, or B, in front of the basket? If you are like most players, you would want to be in front of the basket and between the basket and your opponent. This would give you the best chance to secure the rebound. If this play were allowed to continue, the offensive player would have had a distinct advantage in rebound activity. Since the contact created by the ball handler displaced the defender and impacted his ability to perform normal defensive activities, there is rule support for a player control foul to be charged to the offensive player on this play. Play 6. In this play, white 24 drives to the basket when a secondary defender, red number 10, steps into the path and attempts to take a charge when contact occurs. The lead official rules a blocking foul. Red number 10 appears to have moved into the ball handler's path with 2 feet on the floor before white 24 jumps to attempt a try. Red number 10 is facing the ball handler with his arm raised vertically. This is a legal guarding position, and a player control foul should have been called. This is a play where positioning and focus may have led to an incorrect ruling. When white 24 receives the pass outside the arc, the lead is in the closed down position near the lane, looking toward the sideline. The lead has focused all of his attention on the ball handler driving to the basket. This approach prevented the lead from seeing the whole play and truly assessing the legality of the secondary defender's positioning. The lead is primarily responsible for identifying secondary defenders in the lane area. The lead should have mirrored the ball by adjusting his position toward the sideline and focusing his attention on the secondary defenders in the lane area. This would have given the lead a better chance to see how the defenders obtained their position and make an accurate ruling on the contact. Play 7. In this play, red number 15 obtains a legal guarding position in the path of white number 4 with 2 feet on the court and is facing his opponent. This position is obtained before white 4 jumps to make a pass to a teammate. After releasing the ball, white 4 continues moving without the ball when contact occurs with the defender, red 15. The defender may have embellished the contact, but does appear displaced by the contact on this play. Even though the defender may have exaggerated the contact, this is a team control foul. The officials would essentially be ruling that the defender embellished illegal contact. Under NFHS rules, you cannot penalize both the foul and a faking infraction on the same contact. So, if the team control foul is ruled, it should be the only infraction enforced on this play. This pass crash situation can be difficult to officiate, especially when it occurs in transition, as it does here. Initially, the center official has an open view, able to see between the ball handler and the defender in the lane. However, the direction of the pass dictates coverage responsibilities. Once the pass is released toward the center must shift focus to the player receiving the pass. At this point, the lead becomes primarily responsible for ruling on contact in the lane. The trail can also assist with the ruling if they have an open look at the play. Play 8. In this play, the defender obtains a legal guarding position in the path of the offensive player with 2 feet on the floor and the torso facing the opponent before the shooter becomes airborne. After the shooter leaves the floor, the defender moves his right foot slightly inward, changing from a wide stance to a narrower stance. This naturally raises an important question. Does that movement negate the defender's legal guarding position? The answer is no, it does not. The defender's slight movement does not alter the established path or position. Because the defender remains in the same vertical plane and continues to occupy the same spot on the floor, the rules support ruling this play as a player control foul. If the defender had moved laterally into the path after the offensive player had already left the floor, that movement would make the defender responsible for the contact and, therefore, he would be charged with a blocking foul. But in this play, the defender was already legally in the path. His step with the right foot to brace for contact should be viewed as maintaining a legal guarding position. Well, thank you for watching this training tape.